Hello and a very good afternoon from a rather cold Narvik up here in the Norwegian Arctic Circle. Now just ignore the fact it's almost dark. It's actually only about 10 to 2 in the afternoon. Obviously it doesn't really get light up here very much in the winter. Anyway, tonight we're going to be taking a sleeper train down to Stockholm in Sweden. About 18 hours a sleeper train, so it's on the longer side of some of the stuff I've done here in Europe. Booked a private cabin for it, obviously. Want to get a good night's sleep. But yeah, it should be interesting. I'm just going to make my way over to the station now, and yeah, let's head to Sweden and Stockholm. Narvik station is located just a short walk away from the town itself, and originally opened in 1902. The station building is pretty basic, consisting just of this small waiting room. Within the station building, there's what I assume is a model of the town on display, which is a nice touch, as well as this rather poor taxidermied animal. There's also a departures board showing the few trains that serve Narvik every day, and while the ticket office was closed when I visited, there were self-service luggage lockers available for you to use. And through these doors takes you back out into the freezing cold and to the platforms. Also, I don't know about you, but this has surely got to be one of the best views from a station anywhere in the world, don't you think? Moving further down the platform, you'll find an old steam locomotive on display. This dates from the 1880s. Soon, the delays start, as departure time comes and goes, with still no sign of our train. Eventually, the train pulls in from the depot about a quarter of an hour late. It seems that just about every company under the sun has operated this train at some point or another, but the service tonight is operated by Tåg, the Swedish branch of the Norwegian company V. The train splits en route, with part of the train going to Hulia and the other part of the train going to Stockholm. Tonight's train consists of a mix of sleeping, couchette and seated carriages, hauled by an RC6 electric locomotive. These were built by Swedish manufacturer ASEA between 1985 and 1988 and have a top speed of 160 km an hour or 99 miles per hour. The sleeping cars are towards the front of the train, and we have been allocated berths 16 and 17 in coach 11, and we'll have solo occupancy of our cabin tonight. We eventually depart Narvik around 15 minutes after our 15:13 scheduled departure time. As we depart, let's just take a quick look at our route for tonight. Our journey through the night will see us heading east from Narvik and across the border into Sweden, before continuing south to Stockholm, via the likes of Boden and Umeå. Tonight's trip is scheduled to take 18 hours and 9 minutes, and will see us covering a distance of 1,580 kilometres or 982 miles. Unfortunately, with it being winter, there's not a massive amount to see after we depart, with it being dark and whatnot. But we can clearly see where we cross the border, thanks to the Swedish flag being painted and lit at where we cross. If you're wondering, the crossing takes place around 50 minutes after departure. However, as both Norway and Sweden are members of the Schengen zone, there are no formal border checks here. Soon after crossing the border, I fall asleep for a couple of hours and wake up just as we're pulling into Kiruna. Kiruna is Sweden's northernmost town, with notable attractions including an ice hotel and, of course, the Northern Lights. When I took a look at my phone, I certainly began to appreciate being in my warm cabin, as the temperature was showing as minus 17 degrees Celsius outside. Considering this, I found the heating in these coaches to be really quite effective. We also reverse directions here in Kiruna. Anyway, I think it's about time that we took a closer look at what these cabins have to offer. The door can be unlocked with a keycard, meaning that you don't have to worry about your possessions if you decide to go for a wander around the train. The door locks upon removing the keycard, although you can also secure it with a deadbolt from the inside. And here's what the bed looks like when set up. I found these beds to be really quite wide by sleeper train standards. The quilt was of pretty decent quality, although I did find the pillow to be a bit on the thin side. During the daytime, this bit can be pulled down, converting the lower berth into a seat. In the panel above each berth, there's controls for the main lights, some sort of radio function, although I'm not sure if this is still in use, and a reading light. Unfortunately, the only bed to have access to plug sockets is the middle berth. There are also more lights above the middle berth. And the middle berth itself can be folded down like so. And up in the rafters you'll find the upper berth. By the door, there are switches which control the main lights, as well as this miscellaneous switch which I couldn't figure out what it's for, but if you happen to know, be sure to leave a comment. Some coat hangers are also provided, and there's this little fold-out drinks table. As you'd also expect, a sink is provided. Hot and cold water were available through a mixer tap, although I did find the pressure to be a bit weak. There's also another outlet here, as well as a mirror and volume controls for the PA system. If on the off chance minus 17 degrees is your ideal temperature, well, you're in luck, as it's possible to open the window. A blackout blind is also provided should you wish to cover the window. I imagine this is a bit of a godsend in the summer when it almost never gets dark. Now, you're not really given any sort of amenity kit, but bottled water is provided. Last couple of points. Firstly, you'll find plenty of space on racks for storing your luggage. And lastly, you'll find a ladder by the sink for accessing the upper berths. Now that we've had a look around the cabin, let's just pop off and go and see what else this train has to offer. Firstly, there's additional luggage storage at the end of the coach, although this isn't secure, so use this at your own risk. Sleeping car passengers have access to communal showering facilities, which can be found at one end of each coach. You'll find a key card for unlocking this in your room. I found that both the temperature and water pressure here were rather good, and don't worry if you haven't packed your own towel, as these are also provided. Moving further along the coach, you'll also find a toilet. And I was pleased to find that this was all nice and clean, well stocked, and in good working order. The coach in front of ours was just another identical sleeping car, so I won't bore you with showing you that. In front of the sleeping cars you'll find a couchette car. Now unfortunately these were all occupied, so I couldn't show you one, but these can accommodate up to 6 people. They offer a bit more of a basic experience than the sleeper cabins, and you will be sharing with strangers here, although you can opt to only share with people of the same sex if you so desire. It's also worth noting that it's possible to share sleeper cabins if you want, which will save you quite a bit of money. Moving further forward, we find the seated coach. I'd only recommend this for shorter journeys. If you're making a longer overnight journey and you're on a budget, it's definitely worth paying the little bit extra for a berth in a couchette. All of the coaches in front of this are part of the Luleå portion of the train. This includes a counter selling drinks, snacks and light meals. Once we separate from the Luleå portion, we'll be joined by a portion from Luleå that will go with us to Stockholm, which includes a dining car which we'll take a look at in the morning. While in the buffet car, I decided to grab a beer and some tea. I went for the bean chili while my girlfriend went for the reindeer stew. Having tried a bit of both, I can say that neither were really that great, with both just being microwave meals. The beer cost 69 Swedish krona, with each meal costing 99 krona. Anyway, we've now just stopped at Sweden's second most northern town, Gällivare, which is a mining town home to around 8,500 people. At around 10 PM, we arrive in Boden, where we'll split from the portion bound for Luleå and be joined by the portion from Luleå. After departing Boden, with it now being quite late, we decide to turn in for the night. I awake when my alarm goes off at 8 AM after around 9.5 hours of sleep, a real testament to the comfort of these beds. Anyway, time to head to the dining car for a spot of breakfast. Now, I'm no expert, but judging by this gangway, I'm gonna say it snowed in the night. Anyway, this is the dining car. It's still mainly microwave food, but the range is more extensive than the buffet car from last night. There's also space for you to sit and enjoy your food here. For my breakfast, I went for a falafel wrap and a cup of coffee. Total cost was 91 krona, which, considering that this is Sweden, isn't too bad in my opinion. The quality was actually alright too. I'll be sure to link the menu for both the restaurant and the bistro from last night in the description below. Anyway, the sun is now up and we're fast approaching the Swedish capital, so it's time to reflect on our journey. This is a train I've wanted to do for quite a while now, and boy was it worth the wait. Taking a train from inside the Arctic Circle ticks off a bucket list item for me, and not to mention the train itself was, on the whole, really good, and I even managed to get a great night's sleep too, which is an added bonus. So what about the price? It cost 2,355 krona for my better half and I to have solo occupancy of a sleeper cabin. Considering that Norway and Sweden are both notoriously expensive, I don't think that's too bad at all, and is not much more than you'd pay for a private cabin on other sleepers in Western Europe, such as Nightjet or the Caledonian Sleeper. For me, this was an experience I won't be forgetting anytime soon, but what did you make of it all? Be sure to let me know in the comments. On the way into Stockholm, we make a brief stop at Arlanda Airport. And despite our late departure from Narvik, we pull into Stockholm Central Station just over 5 minutes early at around 9:15. So that was a rather pleasant ride down from Narvik aboard the sleeper. Yeah, very comfortable. Slept for about 10 hours, so that's a sort of real testament to the bed. Very comfortable overall. Dining car was a bit meh, but considering it's Norway and Sweden, I didn't think the prices were too bad at all. And yeah, overall very good sleeper. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to help us out by giving it a like. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications as I publish new trip reports every Monday and Friday. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.